Recording in progress.
Greetings, my friends, and welcome once again back to the channel. Thank you for following us. We know you are part of God's peculiar people. Today, we're going to continue with our teaching. I'm Reverend Ron L. Spradley of Covenant of Grace Ministries. We have a prophetic soundbite for you today. We're going to be talking about taking dominion through spiritual and natural laws of leverage. We understand leverage is power. Leverage makes things easier to accomplish. In this series today, we're going to continue. We've been talking about the role of blood covenants, the role of blood in covenants. We're going to continue with that today. We're going to start with Acts 17 and 26. And had made of one blood all nations. Okay, let's establish this. All of us came from one blood, all nations of men, all right, for to dwell on all faces of the earth, and have determined the times before appointed and the bounds of their habitation. It's okay. All of us came from one blood, okay, and God had determined where you were going to dwell on the earth, okay, and He's determined the time that you're going to be here. It's appointed, okay? So let's continue with this discussion about blood. We want to talk about blood inheritance from our original physical parents. All right, our physical parents was Adam and Eve. Just like eyes or hair, our blood type, all right, is inherited from our parents. So we know our physical parents, original Adam and Eve. So we inherit their blood type. Because of that, they acted and they sinned. The sin nature is a genetic disease passed down to us from our original parents, Adam and Eve. It is in our blood. And as a result of that, Romans 3 and 23 tells us, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. We all have sinned. We all have come short. There's only one exception. That was the sinless Christ who walked the earth and died for us. Okay? So we see a law at work here. We're talking about spiritual and natural laws. We see a law at work here. This law is called the law of what? Sin and death. When we break covenant, when we do a trespass is sin. We're sinning against God's word. When we trespass his word, we sin. And in the beginning, death existed, but it wasn't active. When Adam sinned, he activated death because he broke covenant. So we need to understand the law of sin and death is at work when we break covenant with God. All right. Now, let's look at the first mention of death, Genesis 2:17. But the tree of knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day that thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. So let's look at death and the definition of death. So this verse is telling Adam up front, if you partake of this tree, because God had told him not to. So there's covenant at work already here in the garden. So he violated the covenant when he partook. And God is telling you, if you partake of this tree, you're going to die. All right. So we want to talk about two aspects of death. The first death Adam experienced was separation from God. Sin separates us from our creator, God. That's the first problem we have. Okay. The second death Adam experienced is physical death, the separation. So I want you to think about death in terms of separation. It first separates us from God. Secondly, physical death is the spirit separates from the body. All right. A spirit can live without a body, but a body cannot live without a spirit. You get it? So when you think about death, think about separation. Okay? And think about the law of sin and death is at work when we break covenant. Okay? So that's the first mention of it. Let's move on. Talk about blood covenant. Blood covenants are so serious that violation of the covenant agreement results in death, separation. There we go. That's how we look at it. That's how we define it. It is separation from God, separation of the spirit from the body. Now, look at this. God seeks to kill Moses. Exodus 4:24 through 26. And it came to pass, by the way, in the end, all right, that the Lord met him and what sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at his feet and said, surely a bloody husband art thou to me. So he let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband thou art because of the circumcision. So in the Old Testament, it was a requirement that within 8 days, you had to be circumcised. Okay? That was a sign. That was the seal of the old covenant. Circumcision was that important. And because of this violation of the covenant, of the Old Testament covenant, God had to seek to kill Moses because he violated the covenant. And I want to impress upon you how important walking in blood covenant is. Okay, so we see it. He sought to kill Moses. Now, marriage, excuse me, marriage in the Western culture is the closest thing we have to understand covenant. It's supposed to be a lifelong commitment until death. Let's look at it. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak, all right, I speak of them that know the law. All right, how that the law hath what dominion over a man as long as he what liveth. For the woman which has a husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he liveth. But if the husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of her husband. So then, if while her husband liveth, she married to another man, she is called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she is married to another man. What is this telling us? This is telling us here that marriage is a serious covenant also. All right? That's a long-term, a lifelong commitment. That's what it's supposed to be until death. But we know we have the process of divorce now. Okay? But that wasn't God's original intentions. Okay? So we're continuing to see the importance of the role of blood in covenants. Okay? And you came here for the truth. I've unveiled that for you in a world that's filled with propaganda, right? Lies and corruption. You came here for the truth, and I have unveiled that for you. May God bless you and keep you till we have the opportunity to bring you another word. God bless you.